Welcome to the ITOA Thought Leaders Series. I am your host, Stephanie Guzikowski. I'm proud to introduce you to our special guest today, Jason Bloomberg, President of Intellex. Jason is the leading industry analyst and globally recognized expert on Agile digital transformation. He focuses on how today's disruptive enterprise technology trends support the digital professional's business transformation goals. Jason writes for Forbes, his bi-weekly newsletter, The Cortex, and several other contributed blogs. He also helps technology vendors and service providers communicate their digital transformation stories. Jason is a well-established speaker and published author. His latest book is The Agile Architecture Revolution. Welcome, Jason.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Thanks for joining us today. So let's get started. Jason, I understand at Intellex you cover Agile digital transformation. What does ITOA have to do with that focus area? Could you please explain that so our listeners can make the connection?
Okay, well, the way we explain the notion of digital is customer pressures and behavior, customer preferences and behavior are driving enterprise technology decisions. So when you hear the word digital today, you generally think of mobile development or web development, some front-facing, customer-facing technology. But in reality, every bit of the enterprise technology story has to be brought to bear in order to meet the customer needs. So customers are driving enterprise IT performance from front to back, from the user interface all the way to the systems of record and everything in between. So enterprises thus have to rise to this challenge where customers are demanding high performance, they're demanding bug-free, seamless behavior from their touch points, whatever they happen to be. So when you look at IT operations analytics, we need to understand everything that's going on within the entire operational environment, from the front end, including the web and mobile technology, everything that's going on in the cloud, all the middleware infrastructure, and then the systems of record, as well as all of the third-party participants that are involved in today's digital interactions. So that's, without ITOA, we just simply do not have visibility into what's going on, and without visibility, we can't ensure that customer needs are being met.
I couldn't agree with you more. Thank you for that. ITOA, as you know, it continues to grow and evolve at a massive rate. From your perspective, how has ITOA changed over the last few years?
Well, one of the important things to keep in mind is that these labels that we use, the ITOA market label, sometimes the labels aren't particularly well suited for what's going on. And this is what's happening with ITOA and really the overall IT management, operations management part of the marketplace. So in some sectors, ITOA is thought of as being sort of an old-fashioned term. Does it overlap IT operations management? Does it overlap digital performance management? Is it being subsumed maybe by AI ops, which is a new Gartner term, which you might think stands for artificial intelligence operations, but that's not what Gartner uses the term for. It's more about what they call algorithmic infrastructure operations, which doesn't really make any sense because algorithms are not a particularly significant part of this story. So you sort of have to be careful when you start using these terms. So in terms of ITOA in particular, part of the reason why analysts or whoever came up with the term put the A in there, the analytics, is because analytics is such an important part of the overall IT digital performance management story. And the analytics part of the story is also the technology is advancing dramatically. So it's not simply about, just simply viewing event data. We now have much better big data technologies and approaches for crunching the numbers and distilling insights out of the data. So because we're applying big data technologies now to the IT operations landscape, we have an increased focus on ITOA, but it's not in a vacuum, right? You can't, analytics alone aren't going to solve the problems. They may just give us better insight into the problems. So it's still only part of the story, right? We still need to have a way of managing problems, and then predicting problems, and then preventing problems. And ITOA gives us the visibility, but doesn't take us to those other steps.
Yeah, that's a good explanation. Thank you. Digital business performance management, that appears in your recent Agile digital transformation roadmap poster. It's a little bit of a mouthful for me. You mentioned this is connected to ITOA as well. Can you explain how that relates?
Yeah, thanks for bringing up the poster. That's our Agile Digital Transformation Roadmap poster. It's at agiledigitaltransformation.com, so you can get a free PDF there, and anybody can come get the poster. And it really, the poster overall lays out what we could call a roadmap for digital transformation. Although if you look at the poster, it's more of a sort of interconnected, complex weave of different technologies and approaches and priorities, because that's really the nature of digital transformation today. So if you look at what the box that says digital performance management or digital business performance management, what we're really trying to emphasize there is that digital performance management, which has now become a market category, is really about the business, right? It's not only about the performance of the technology. It's about supporting customer needs and preferences with technology-enabled products and services. So it's connecting the customer needs, which are the business priorities, to the technology. So that's an overall part of the overall digital transformation story. And IT operations analytics is essentially the big data component of that. So if you look at the poster, big data are on the poster as well, and connect to the digital business performance management, as well as a lot of these other technologies and approaches. So it's again, it's hard to separate these things out into separate markets or separate priorities. They're all part of an overall story of changing business transformation in support of changing customer needs and preferences.
Yeah, it's a very interesting poster, so I highly suggest and recommend that our listeners go check it out. So thank you. Here's the $1 million question that I like to ask for the I2A landscape, of course, to get your perspective as a thought leader and an expert. Where do you see I2A going in the future?
Well, one of the things that Gartner was picking up on when they came up with this AI ops term is the role that artificial intelligence plays. They sort of took a left turn in this whole notion of algorithms, which is just muddying the waters. But the role AI, artificial intelligence, plays is a critical part of the story. Right? We have so much information coming from our operations systems, so operational systems, whether it's event data or other metrics that are the raw information that we need to process. We need increasingly sophisticated tooling in order to process that information, in order to gain the insights that we need to make the appropriate decisions. And once we make those decisions, the next step then is predicting situations, so predicting problems before they occur. And then the big picture is essentially a lights out operational environment. That is where our technology is sophisticated enough not only to predict problems, but to prevent the problems, right? And if we have sufficient artificial intelligence that can predict and thus prevent problems, well, then essentially lights out is, we don't need to have people even monkey with this stuff anymore. We can have a fully automated operational environment, even the very complex distributed enterprise operational environments. And that's sort of the end game that we're trying to achieve. Now, we're not there yet, but the key to making that vision a reality is artificial intelligence. So today we're starting with essentially basic machine learning, and that's now the price of admission for a lot of these tools. That is, all the tools in the market have some level of machine learning, so they can, you feed them a lot of event data, and they get better at making sense out of, say, which alerts are the important ones, for example, and a lot of tools do that. Taking it on to the next step, where you're gaining critical insights, and then moving on to predictive predictive analytics requires greater sophistication, and that's really the cutting edge now. That's where a lot of the innovation is going on, and where vendors are only just now rolling out products that can really make a difference. And so that's sort of the area of active development where the markets are now emerging. Having the fully automated, essentially self-healing systems, that's still mostly in the future. We can do that self-healing, automatic prevention of problems to a limited extent in limited contexts, but we still aren't able to do that in the broader enterprise scenario where we have high levels of complexity and heterogeneity, as well as ongoing change. So there's more work to be done. We're not there yet, but we're making good progress. And the progress we're making with artificial intelligence, whether it's machine learning, deep learning, other trends within the broader AI sphere, are all the essential parts of the story. And part of the reason why ITOA and the broader operations story is a moving target, right? Innovation continues, and it continues to accelerate as well as technology continues to improve.
Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it. Thank you, Jason. Thanks so much for taking the time to share your insights today. That's all the questions I have for you. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on.
Very good. It's my pleasure.
This is Stephanie Gizikowski from the I2A Landscape. Thanks for listening and have a great day.